The most painful moment in your life may not be when someone leaves you. It may be when you realize you were never truly walking your own path. You changed your opinions to keep them. You stayed where you were unhappy because they were comfortable. You laughed when you wanted to speak. You became someone easier to love and slowly became a stranger to yourself. And Nietzsche saw something terrifying about this. He believed that the moment you desperately need people to approve of your life, you give them the power to decide what your life should become. But here is the part most people misunderstand. Walking alone doesn't mean having no one. It means becoming strong enough to stand alone without feeling incomplete. Imagine this, you finally decide to change your life. You stop chasing someone who doesn't value you. You stop explaining yourself to people determined to misunderstand you. You stop asking, do they approve? And suddenly, the room becomes quieter. Some people disappear. Some friendships feel different. And for a moment, you wonder, did I make a mistake? Nietzsche would tell you. Maybe the loneliness isn't proof that you chose the wrong path. Maybe it's proof that you're finally leaving the old one, because when you stop living for other people's expectations, something strange happens. You discover how many of your desires were never really yours. The career you wanted, the relationship you were desperate to keep, the lifestyle you thought would make you happy. How much of it came from you, and how much came from wanting to be accepted? That's the uncomfortable question, because sometimes we don't fear being alone. We fear meeting ourselves when nobody is around. No notifications, no attention, no validation, no one telling you that you're doing okay. Just you and the thoughts you've been avoiding. And that's exactly where growth begins. Nietzsche's idea of becoming yourself wasn't about blindly following your feelings. It was about having the courage to question the values you inherited. To look at your life and ask, did I choose this? Or was I simply taught to want it? The question can destroy an old identity, but it can also create a new one. Think about the person who constantly needs reassurance. They don't text because they have something to say. They text because silence makes them anxious. They don't ask for advice because they need information. They ask because making their own decision feels terrifying. Their life slowly becomes a committee meeting where everyone gets a vote except them. And this is why learning to walk alone is so powerful. You start making small decisions without permission. You spend time alone without feeling abandoned. You stop chasing people who repeatedly choose not to choose you. You discover that rejection doesn't always mean you're not enough. Sometimes it simply means you're no longer willing to betray yourself to be accepted. And then something changes. You become harder to manipulate, because manipulation needs fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loneliness, fear of being misunderstood. But when you're genuinely comfortable standing alone, those fears lose their grip. Someone can leave, and you can grieve, but you don't collapse. Someone can disagree with you, and you can listen, but you don't immediately abandon your beliefs. Someone can reject you, and instead of asking, what is wrong with me? You begin asking, is this actually the life I want? That is freedom. Not having everyone beside you, having yourself beside you. And perhaps that's why the hardest part of walking alone isn't the loneliness. It's the transformation, because once you learn that you can survive without constant approval, you can no longer comfortably return to the version of yourself that begged for it. You'll lose some people. You'll disappoint some people. Some will call you selfish. Some will say you've changed, and they're right. You have changed, but maybe that's the point. A tree doesn't apologize for growing away from the shadow that once covered it, and neither should you. There will be nights when the path feels empty, when you miss the people you walked away from, when you question whether independence was worth the price. In those moments, remember this: loneliness is not always the absence of people. Sometimes it's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And if you can endure that space without running back, you may discover something extraordinary. You were never waiting for someone to come and complete you. You were waiting to become someone you no longer needed to abandon. So walk alone when you must, not because people don't matter, but because your life is too important to hand over to their approval. And if you ever find yourself standing alone at a crossroads, don't immediately ask, "Who will come with me?" Ask something harder. Which direction allows me to remain myself? Because the strongest person in the room isn't always the one surrounded by everyone. Sometimes it's the person who can walk away from the crowd, hear the silence, and still keep walking. If you've ever had to choose between being accepted and being yourself, tell me what happened in the comments. And if these ideas make you question the way you see yourself, subscribe, because sometimes the loneliest road is the one that finally leads you home to yourself.